A lot of people are afraid of snakes, but what I've come to find is that they just don't know a lot about them.
During the winter, snakes are hibernating. They're cold-blooded or ectothermic animals, so when the temperature outside is cold, they have to go underground to survive below cave temperature, where it's about 65 degrees.
The main majority of snakes, they're going to come out looking to breed in about mid-March, and then that will last all the way until fall.
Now, if things warm up early, which happens a lot in South Carolina, sometimes they'll come out early and then go back into hibernation.
Out of the 38 or so different species of snakes we have in South Carolina, 7 different species are venomous.
The snakes that I see in or around houses almost always are non-venomous snakes. The one that gets in houses sometimes because squirrels get in to the attic are rat snakes, non-venomous. I know they get pretty large, but they're absolutely no problems to people.
They consider us to be a large, dangerous predator, which we are. They're terrified of us and they want to stay away from us. So if you see a snake, you're afraid of it, you could look at it from a safe distance, enjoy it, and then just simply walk away. He's not going to try to attack you or come after you. They live underground. They just feed on other snakes. They have a very neurotoxic venom, but as you can see, they're very docile snakes. Now I'm wearing these special bite-proof gloves, so it couldn't bite me, but it's not trying to. And they can't just strike and bite you like a rattlesnake can. They have to grab and actually chew a little bit to inject that venom.
When I was a kid, my grandmother told me just to remember a little poem. If red touches yellow, it can kill a fellow. If red touches black, it's good for Jack. Here's the way to remember. Stoplight. Red means stop, yellow means caution. When they touch, that's the eastern coral snake. Copperheads, that's the most common venomous snake we've got. Wide, narrow, wide, dumbbell-shaped markings.
They have that wonderful brown and coppery coloration that's perfect camouflage for hiding in leaves. They're nocturnal. They come out at night most of the time to feed and move around. And even though they're venomous, they're not considered to be a life-threatening situation if you're bitten by one, because their venom is relatively mild, it's still medically significant, but it's probably not going to kill you. Cottonmouth, water moccasin are the same thing. They're a pit viper, aquatic pit viper. They're found in the coastal plain of South Carolina. They like slow-moving, dark water, swamps, and the lower coastal plain rivers.
When you bother it, it just turns and opens its mouth really wide and shows you the lining of the mouth. That's why it's called a cottonmouth.
Now when they do that, they don't come after you. They just open their mouth, look at you. That's to say, I'm here, please walk around me. They're not an aggressive animal. They have a terrible reputation for falling out of trees into boats and chasing people. They don't do that. And the reason they don't do that is because we'll kill them if they do.
The major cause of the few deaths that we have in South Carolina, the most common would be the timber rattlesnake. And there are 2 subspecies of that. The one up north, usually timber rattlesnake, the coastal plain version, same species, we call the canebrake rattlesnake.
We have the largest rattlesnake in the world, the diamondback rattlesnake, which can grow up to 8 feet long and weigh more than 20 pounds. Only lives in open canopy pine savannas down at the coast and on barrier islands. We also have the smallest rattlesnake in the world, the pygmy rattlesnake.
If you look at the rattle, it's hard to see it. It's a very small rattle, and you almost have to cup your hand up to your ear to hear it. It sounds more like an insect buzzing.
Mostly common in areas like Francis Marion National Forest, so a deepwood snake that you typically don't encounter. And it's a snake that's venomous, but doesn't present a life-threatening situation to humans if you happen to be bitten by one. All the bigger rattlesnakes we have, the diamondback, the canebrake, and the timber rattlesnake, are medically significant snakes if you're bitten by one. They're fairly big, they have large fangs, they can produce a lot of venom. So if you're bitten by one of those animals, then that's something that needs to be treated immediately by a medical professional.
The CDC reports that on average 5 people a year die from venomous snake bites in the U.S.
Only venomous snakes have fangs, but all other snakes have 6 rows of teeth. So if they bite you, you bleed.
Most people are bitten by snakes when they get too close to them, and they get too close to either try to catch it or to try to hit it with a stick and kill it, and then they're envenomated by the snake.
But every now and then, inadvertently, you step on a snake, and usually it has to actually be physical contact. They're not out to get you. They don't have notches on their fangs or some silly thing like that. They don't behave like humans. They don't kill things just to kill things.
There are occasions where snakes will come towards people, and it actually has nothing to do with them chasing you. It's because you're in the way of their home. Because when snakes see a predator, they don't think, okay, there's a predator here, so go the other way. They think predator, go home. So what you should do if you're bitten by a venomous snake is, first of all, scrap the suction kits or cutting or anything like that. The best thing to do is to call poison control and call the hospital and tell poison control what hospital you're going to.
If it's a serious envenomation, they might give you anti-venom, which is the only way to neutralize the venom that's been injected. And in some cases, like if it's a copperhead bite, they might not give you any anti-venom at all. They just give you supportive care until the effects of the venom wear off.
One of the ways that snakes are good and keep diseases down is by eating species that carry a lot of disease and expand rapidly, such as rodents, amphibians.
So if you reduce the mouse population, then you're also reducing the tick population, and therefore the chance that we might get some disease like Lyme disease transmitted by the ticks.
What happens when people kill snakes without also removing their input of prey is you get an imbalance in the ecosystem. So say you kill a copperhead, but you didn't kill the rodents that it's probably eating, or the other snakes that it's eating. Well, now what happens is their population increases. Well, then there needs to be control so that can balance back out. So another copperhead or more, usually smaller ones, will come in, and then they make up for the difference of that one.
These little connections in nature, they're wonderful balances. I learned a long time ago, best to leave them alone. Nature always seems to solve the problems better than we can.
People are taught to be afraid of snakes. Once you get exposure to them and you find out how inoffensive they are, then you very rapidly lose that fear. So education, I think, would alleviate the fear factor that's associated with snakes.
Appreciation comes with understanding and knowledge.
Remind people they're a part of this natural system, not separate from it. It's not us against them. We're a part of the same system. And once you know that, then you have greater respect than you would without it for other creatures. Really, as we used to say, all creatures, great and small.